to a new apartment. Frankie came to live with us. I have 2 teenage daughters who came to live with us full time.
Yeah.
So you have all this dynamic going on, all the pressure the world is under in COVID. Her business was shut down for many, many months. I'm in the real estate business, and all of a
Right.
sudden a camera comes in front, and the only one ready for the camera is Alexia.
I'm always ready.
My kids and
Right.
and Frankie's actually the best on the camera of anyone, but the rest of us, we don't understand this, and it's like you have so many things going on in life, and it just when a couple's getting married, there's enough pressure and stress. But you put all these factors and delays and problems, and we were finding venues. They say, okay, we could do the venue, but for 50 people, and then one venue backed out at last minute. So when you add that to TV, people don't understand the incredible amount of stress going on behind the scenes. And you see it, you just don't know how it got there.
Well, to your point,
Yeah.
we
Right.
were, we knew you guys were engaged. We were
Yeah.
so excited to see this wedding. I know we didn't see it for, unforeseen circumstances. You guys did kindly finally get married, off camera.
Yes.
Are we going to see maybe some type of celebration this new season?
We are.
Okay.
Yes, I feel like we owe it to the viewers.
Yeah,
we owe
I
it
think
to
so.
ourselves and our friends and our family. And we're very happy that we got to do that. But honestly, the best thing was just running off to St. Bart's
Yeah.
and getting married, just him and I. We needed it as a couple. We needed it for ourselves. And it was beautiful.
Well, we saw in the trailer also, I mean, we know Gertie planned your first wedding, the one that never happened. We saw in the trailer, you guys kind of have a thing, where you get into this argument. Is there
We
going to be
do.
drama between you and Gertie this season?
Well, I think you'll have to watch to see, but I feel like we do have our moments because I think it's important, like real people and real friends. That's what we do. She, felt a certain kind of way and I was feeling a certain kind of way and we had to talk about it. And at the end we both like each other, right? Or we don't. So that's like what you have to see, it's like time takes you to where you have to be.
Totally.
And again, that also weighs into the fact of all the obstacles she and Gertie were having to get a wedding, to find a venue. And remember, a lot of people were trying to get married at the same time, and then you want to bring cameras into the event, and all of a sudden the price multiplied 10 times just because you want to bring a camera. So they both had a lot of stress going into this.
Right, we did.
That's true.
Yeah.
What about we also
Thank you,
see...
babe. He's
Yeah,
so
see,
good, right?
you
He's
guys-
always like
listen,
justifying
you're like-
everything.
I want to tell you what really happened.
You're used to the cameras now,
Yeah.
right? Like you're used to it.
No,
I
he's
prefer- I
actually
prefer
really
microphone.
good. Honestly, he's too good. So we don't want the camera on him all the time.
Like, stealing
I say he
the
would be the
thunder.
perfect house husband. If there was a house husband show, he would be like, yeah.
Well,
He
you
would
know-
be like Nene or Teresa or even Alexia.
Well, I was just gonna say, if they keep going with Ultimate Girls Trip, which we're gonna get into in a few minutes, like maybe they'll do like an Ultimate Husbands Trip.
Ooh, that would be fun. But they have
But
to let us
Alexia-
go.
But Alexia won't let me go.
Yeah, you
That's what I was gonna say. You would
Alexia,
be up for
like Todd in
that.
Thailand for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You're like, I
No,
don't
there
think
has
so.
to be a different destination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
the
you-
wives would have
she
to
let me
pick
go
the
to Disney World.
destination. Definitely not Thailand.
Right, you're like, no Thailand.
Right.
What about, we also see in the trailer, and we all don't know how it's edited. You don't have to give us any spoilers, but we see where there's the rumor that, like, Julia kissed a guy, and then Martina says this can't keep
And Martina
happening.
liked it. Yeah.
Right, we're like, she can't this can't keep happening. Like, should we be worried about their marriage?
I think the only ones that should be worried are themselves, if they are, I mean, at this point, we don't know. Like, we're just going to have to watch and see. But, marriages are tough and relationships are tough. And, the only ones that really know are them. People like to judge, even like with Lisa and Lenny, behind closed doors, you don't know. People like to say, oh, well, because we saw that in season 4, those 2 minutes, and he mistreated her. But you don't know that.
Yeah.
That's all we saw. There's so much more behind the
We were in
scene.
Aspen. We were with them at dinner weeks before this happened. That was
Yeah.
February. And
Wow.
they were like
Lovey-dovey,
like,
feeding each other, loving each other.
Didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming. I don't like to use the word blindsided, but, people like to judge just by one thing they see. Even like you and I, like they can see us one night at a place in an argument or in a group situation where we disagree and he might be disrespectful, but that doesn't mean your marriage is over.
Right.
I mean, that's like huge. From that to like the next day saying I'm divorcing you, it's like a different story.
So you guys were shocked when you heard this?
I mean, I don't like to use the word shocked or
Is
anything.
anyone shocked about people getting divorced
Yeah, I mean,
anymore?
it's something that
You know,
happens every single day, and we know
You
that.
just don't know what goes on. The truth is, you just don't know what goes on at home. But
Right.
in person, they were both fantastic together.
Yeah.
We liked them both. We loved them
Yeah.
both. So
I
surprised as
was
a couple.
disappointed, surprised as well, and disappointed because I thought, because, I'm like Lenny's age, so it's like I put myself in his situation. Like starting again, he has small children. I had small children. I know what divorce does. It's also bad to stay in a bad marriage and for your children to see you fighting all the time. So I'm not supporting a bad marriage, but it's just the way he handled everything. You can fall out of love and you can get divorced, but I feel that he could have handled it a little bit better.
Well, there's a lot of conflicting statements about the timeline. He says that, he didn't meet his girlfriend Katerina until after him and Lisa were already, made this announcement. I think she implies that, he cheated with her. Do you guys know anything about this?
I don't. Honestly, I don't.
And I don't know that it matters.
I
either at
think
this point.
sometimes,
Yeah.
well, we're in a no-fault state anyways, and, Miami's Miami. But, I want to say that sometimes as women, the signs are there and other people see it, other women, other men, but you are in it and you are blindsided yourself. You're like blind to this and you don't see it. And then you're hopeful and you're like, you know what, it's just like a little stage that you're going through and you're like making excuses up for them because you love them and you don't want to destroy your family. And I think that, I can relate to that and Lisa can too.
I mean, right, and Lisa says she's blindsided. That's what she says.
And she was very much in love with him and, and her family and her children and it's hard. It's hard. I think she was really trying in her own way to keep her family together and unfortunately it was a little bit too late.
What about, so you guys are here, you're right, Todd is finishing your sentences. They are holding hands for everyone who's listening that is not watching, like they're holding hands. So, I mean, you guys seem, but do you, listen, you've been around reality TV forever, like, do you guys worry at all, like, about, the fact that there's now, you're back on the show?
I do. We've had this conversation together and my personal life has always been more important than my professional life. And I had this conversation with him that if I know that it's something that will affect our marriage and our relationship and my family's life and my family life, that I will step down. My family and Todd, my kids are more important to me than the show. And I think I've always
I think she's great
demonstrated
for the
that.
show, and I think she's a tremendous role model. So I like her doing the show. I don't like to be involved. Maybe some of the other husbands may want to be involved, but I think for her the platform is terrific, and I think she really is inspiring to a lot of women. So she should do the show. And I think people who watch the show need to know that it is a show about what it's about, but behind the scenes, I mean, she's been spending the whole day working on a toy drive for Christmas. I mean, stressed out all morning trying to get this going. So she does a lot of stuff behind the scenes with this platform to help things and help people out. So I think it's great.
No,
for her.
and I think so too. I mean, I feel that, my story has been a little bit different
Yeah.
from the other housewives in other cities and in my own city. So I like the fact that people do come up to me and say, "Oh, you inspire me and I look up to you," and in so many different ways. So to me, I like that. I say that that's the best part about doing a show like this.